Hello, welcome to Movie Baiters. This is a show where we bait a movie topic. The three of us on the pod today just saw Deadpool and Wolverine. Hi, I'm Kyle.
Kirk.
I'm Ben, joining you for the first time.
Yes, Movie Baiters with the Farx Brothers. Ben is now a Farx brother. This is how you find out. I thought this movie was mid, so let's all talk about our expectations and how hard we went into this movie. Because it's not, I found it's not what you believe, but it's how hard you believe it.
Well, what were your expectations starting off with you?
I wanted 10. I
You
wanted
wanted
a
a
9
10?
or a 10. It's kind of like both Deadpool movies since the first Deadpool have not hit my peak excitement, and I still enjoy them more on rewatch and as part of a whole and for the, I guess, corporate approved snide comments they make.
Yeah, kind of in the same level, 7 out of 10. I didn't think it was great. It's a little fan servicey. Definitely played a lot on the cameos, so I wasn't a super fan of that.
Yeah, my expectations were not as high as yours were, Kyle. I mean, ideally, we would want every movie to be a 9 or a 10. I was kind of not expecting it from that, although I liked the first two quite a bit. Um, and even though I can understand why some people might have a case against them, like some people might be a little sick of Ryan Reynolds, but I'm not. I'm
Oh,
not. I am still charmed by him.
you can never get sick of a Canadian.
I don't know how true that is.
Whoa, whoa. How could
Just
you
kidding.
say
I have
that?
nothing against Canadians.
That you're slandering to Pan Sharma.
He's a Canadian?
He's part Canadian, so
Uh,
think about that, Kirk.
but he lives in the U.S., so
He
I
lives in the
mean,
U.S. now. Yes, that's correct.
I mean, there's Brian Adams. He's Canadian.
Brian Adams is Canadian. No, I, I enjoyed the jokes. Nothing was too vile. I feel as though there were more vile things in the previous Deadpools than this.
I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
was what I was kind of expecting was what ultimately what this movie is, which was the standard skeleton of the plot was basically kind of the superhero multiverse swap we've come to expect. That like plot wise, you could have generated this with an AI probably,
That's
but with some
podcast
but with some sol but with some solid enough gags that you are entertained while watching it. And yeah, that's basically what this movie is. So like,
No, it's Midnight Run in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You see,
What is Midnight Run? I haven't seen
yeah,
it.
have you seen Midnight Run?
um, no, but I did read the Bill Simmons off-season NBA preview in like 2013, which was 10,000 words long and inexplicably Midnight Run themed.
Like the movie Midnight Run
Yes,
with Robert De Niro.
yes.
Okay.
And he wrote over 10,000 words about I forget which off season it was, and that was kind of the point where people started thinking, I think Bill Simmons' shtick is getting a little tiresome.
I'm not gonna stand here and on the standing. I'm not gonna sit here and let you denigrate Bill Simmons and the BS on this podcast. Um, so what is the plot of this movie? I genuinely cannot. He had to save a universe, but he didn't because there was like some surreptitious plot going on in the TVA. And so if you've never seen Loki, right, Ben?
I do not have a Disney Plus subscription.
Oh, okay, great.
I mean, they kind of don't integrate Loki that much in this movie.
Not
Only
Loki,
the
but
monster.
TVA.
Yeah, but I mean, even this version of the TVA, they don't really bring in that much from the TV show, except the name and the B-15.
The inner universal travel that the
Yeah,
only other time they've addressed has been in the Multiverse of Madness.
more or
And
less.
No. Were there any others where they took it? Oh, I guess at the end, the Marvels. And you both saw the Marvels. Like, was
Yeah.
the Marvels the last superhero movie from the MCU?
I want to say, yeah, I think so.
Okay. And Ben, did you see Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania?
I don't remember if I did or didn't.
Anyways, you saw the Marvels, right?
Yes.
And did you enjoy the Marvels?
No. Not even kind of.
Okay, so
Wow.
you would say this was better than the Marvels.
Yes.
Was it better than Guardians 3 from last year?
No.
Yeah, I would agree. This is not better than Guardians 3.
Okay, so in the post-2020 world where, Marvel has been less than Endgame level, and not that that should be denigrated, just that they're trying new things. That's cool. How will they bring it all together? I don't know. San Diego Comic-Con starts next week, and they're going to announce the rest of the slate of, I guess, 6, and then probably start going into 7, 8, and 9 or whatever of phases.
Yeah, I think my biggest problem with this movie is that it doesn't. They see as much that the MCU and the multiverse saga is such a mess, but this movie kind of adds to that mess. Technically, the mutants aren't in the MCU, and Deadpool doesn't exist in the Prime Universe as we know, the 616.
The Sacred Timeline?
Yeah. That technically doesn't exist
How do you mean it
anymore
makes
either.
it more messy that this movie exists in the timeline of the 616?
Well, he doesn't. Doesn't he reside in Earth 1000 something 16?
10, 0,
Yeah.
16 or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the especially confusing thing is that the official company designation for the MCU universe is not 616.
Mm.
616 is for the comics, but in the movies, the movie universe is called 616, even though I think I don't know. I don't know if this is still the I don't know if this is still the case, but when I did a wiki dive, it seemed like some years ago, I seem to recall the MCU's designation was something like 199999 or something.
I agree. It was 199,999 is the universe that the MCU exists in continuity with the main 616 universe in the comics.
Yeah, I also think it's kind of weird for him to want to join the Avengers for some reason.
I've heard other people say
Why
that. It's like, why does he
all
have
of a
this
sudden?
need to
Yeah.
belong? And ultimately they don't really belong, and they fuck over the team
Mm.
when big reveal, it's other Fox. Okay, was Blade always Fox, or was that New Line? Because I got it wrong on the last episode. I said it
I'm
was
not
New Line.
100% sure.
Anyways,
Well, whatever the case, Disney has the rights now.
Mm.
and it was Blade came first, then Matrix, and then X-Men. Because Blade influenced Matrix, and Matrix influenced X-Men. As for the black leather.
Yeah.
Sure.
I guess the yellow and red was cool, and when a blue Fantastic Four showed up, that was cool too.
And curiously, Jennifer Garner wears black leather in this, even though her thing was
Yeah.
the only, even though she actually wore red superhero suit type thing in her movie. So I think I wonder if perhaps Disney is saying, oh, the signifier of the old Fox properties is that they will all wear black leather instead of theirs.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to complain about seeing Jennifer Garner in black leather. I'm a man of culture, but
all right. Just be respectful of Alias, okay?
I never seen it, so
In a post 9/11 world, Alias made me feel safer.
Wow, did it? Oh,
No, not in the slightest. It was like 24, but they like came out at the same time on different channels, Fox and ABC, which are now in the same universe. So now Alias could cross over with 24 because they're both owned by Disney. Oh
The
no!
big difference was Alias was willing to went more into science fiction, especially as it continued.
Wait, when did they get into science fiction in Alias?
And, like all the like Rimbaldi device stuff.
Oh, I don't remember how the Rimbaldi device worked, but I remember that came up in like in Kirk. You saw no Alias, right?
no, I didn't see it.
Okay, yeah, this is on the last episode, Ben. We talked about how Longlegs was like X-Files. It was like if David Fincher made an X-Files episode, this is what it would be like.
More or less, yeah.
I
I'd
like
say.
Ben's reaction of like
What was
looking
his
away
reaction?
and going, I don't know if I like that, but the man has made a sharp point. Did it sting?
Yeah, I had thought it would be more like if you crossed like Silence of the Lambs with The Omen, but we're not discussing that movie
Yeah, you're
in
correct.
this episode.
Yeah.
So Midnight Run is what this movie is. You guys haven't seen that. Do you know Wolverine, Hugh Jackman based his 2000 X-Men performance on Clint Eastwood? And then he had
I did know that.
And then he does have like a Clint Eastwood version of Wolverine in this where he shoots Deadpool in the first like half hour. I assume that was a direct reference to that.
When does he shoot him?
He's on his porch and he's got gray in his beard, and Deadpool's
yeah.
like, "Hey, you can put some product in that," and then he shoots him with a shotgun under his poncho. That's straight up Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, I missed that reference.
You need to get on some Clint Eastwood. It's going to be the theme of like.
Well, after Gran Torino, I don't think I could watch any more Clint Eastwood movies.
So Ben, some recurring themes in Invaders has been like, Gran Torino has made Clint Eastwood racist, according to Kirk. And people have been doing Rocky impressions that they shouldn't do, or Sylvester Stallone impressions, because like Rambo will come up or things like. Just so you know, that is like a reference point.
Well, I don't do impressions.
I'm
so-
not asking you to, but also Skulls and Bonesing is something that we refer to as blowjobs, and this movie had Skulls and Bonesing, but in like a different way where people put hands in people's heads. I did think that was a cool thing I've not seen in other movies.
There were quite a few blowjob jokes in this film,
Yes.
which is not surprising, but
I mean, it's not that hard, right, to make those kind of jokes?
Well, it has to be hard for the blowjob to be very good.
Of course.
You set that up on
Yeah.
purpose.
see, it's easy to do.
It's a sort of art.
Did you like when he wore the mask? I thought that like it made him look like a video game and kind of made me less connected, and the white eyes didn't work. Sorry, but
Yeah.
tell me each of your thoughts. And you guys are supposed to be debating me.
It I mean, with me, well, I kind of have a contrary opinion on that, in that I think, like the very first shot of it is like not very good, but like I got more into it, like the more it was shown, particularly when like you saw him in action. I was like, oh yeah, he looks like Wolverine. Like
In the side-scrolling scene,
yeah, and I was like, oh, this could be from X-Men '97, which again I have not seen because I don't have a Disney Plus subscription.
we'll have to do a movie beggars bonus. We do a BONE-US. We call it bonus commentary, where we record commentaries on things. We'll have to do that for X-Men '97, which you haven't seen. Kirk,
Can you
you've
do the
seen
whole
it all?
thing?
What?
Yeah, I've seen the
Yeah.
first season of it. Yeah.
I'm being somewhat facetious, but I think it would work before like the next one comes out. Just I like to pitch what we could do in the future
Because-
while we're doing what we're doing right now.
Right.
It's an X-Men podcast, so
It's
screw
not
it.
an X-Men
Because
podcast.
the second season's supposed to be like done by a different guy now, right? Because
Well, I think he wrote season 1 and 2.
some kind of thing happened. I don't know what it is.
He had an OnlyFans that maybe wasn't cool with Disney. Kind of like
Is that
maybe
real?
going, what?
Was that real?
Well, he
That
did
was
have an
something else.
OnlyFans, but Disney didn't supposedly separate their contract because of his OnlyFans, but it's being targeted as, oh, was that because of... And when you see that juxtaposed with pegging in this movie and Kevin Feige being named in the headlines of articles were like, Kevin Feige had to explain to the board what pegging was,
That's insane that they're so, like, what, innocent, that they don't know what pegging is.
Part of this is also that it has to play in China. And some of the, like, you can't do LGBTQ.
They don't do sex in China
You can't
or
do...
pegging.
They will make edits for LGBTQIA plus 2S type stuff, and they've done it before. And they've added scenes like into Iron Man 3 for Chinese audiences, so...
Yeah, it's a tangent, but that added so much more context for Iron Man 3, who the hell that doctor was at the beginning.
Oh, the
Yeah,
Chinese version?
Yeah, because he's the one who helps Tony get those metal parts out of his body. That would have been crucial to Iron Man 3. Why
Give
would
me
you...
the Shane Black Chinese cut of Iron Man 3.
I mean, it's not that long. It's only like
This is like 5 minutes
5 minutes,
longer.
yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah, so have I.
I'm a completionist as well in the MCU. Like, I'm a sick freak. I need to see it all. I once watched the Captain America, the Winter Soldier, intercut with Agents of SHIELD, where Samuel Jackson shows up in the episodes after it's been revealed that, like, S.H.I.E.L.D. has been compromised. See, I could say it, I just wanted to spell it too.
Yeah, but how much longer is that? Like,
it's a 4-hour affair.
oh, wow, okay.
Because
aren't there like particularly early on like cleanup episodes? I seem to recall hearing there was like a cleanup episode for Thor: The Dark World.
Yes, where the like second lead female, the one who's not Natalie Portman and not
Oh, Sif?
who is yes,
Kat
Sif
Dennings.
No, not Kat
Jamie
Dennings.
Alexander?
Who plays Thor's mom? Do you remember?
Oh,
I haven't
no
looked it
idea.
up. I thought it was Renee Russo.
I think it is Renee.
I've been on a Renee Russo kick because she bangs Clint Eastwood in The Line of Fire. Ben, have you seen In the Line of Fire?
I have.
Sweet.
Not in quite a while.
So you'll appreciate that I was watching it in the afternoon one day when it was raining, and there's a part where the guy from the practice gets shot through the forehead, and the kids were in the room, and I was like, oh no, I forgot about that, and so I've scandalized them by, and then Nick explained how they just pulled out, like when people get shot in the head in movies like that with like the bullet hole, just pull a little piece out, and the older one said what she was afraid of was John Malkovich.
Yeah, because how he acted as the character.
Yeah.
He is quite scary in that movie.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't seen that one.
This movie, and I'm sad that I didn't love this movie. And like, there's a lot of, you said fan service, Kirk. I hate saying things like that because it's cliche.
I get it.
And also, the original meaning of the word fan service refers to sexy scenes in anime. So.
Oh wow, I never knew that.
What's a sexy scene in anime? Explain this.
Not
to me
hentai.
Like if there's like a gratuitous like scene of like a female character with her top off or something, that's fan service.
Why would a female character in an anime have her top off?
To serve the fans.
Yeah, hence fan service, I guess.
So the fan service is her manly glands.
Yes.
Huh.
But it was...
There were no boobs in this movie. To its credit?
Were there boobs in the other Deadpool movies?
No, there wasn't. So
yeah.
No, there was penis in other Deadpool movies.
The Deadpool 2, yeah.
Yeah, Deadpool 2, the baby-sized penis.
Here's when he's cut in half. Is there a bait in which Deadpool is the best? 1, 2, or 3? Does anyone want to take 3s? Someone want to take 1s? Someone want to take 2?
I'll take 2.
We'll take hard. Okay, you really take 2. Do you want a 3 to?
I'll take 3.
You take 3?
Yeah.
I take 1 because like it was the scrappy one, and it was Tim Miller who made the 3rd best Terminator movie. he he didn't make one better than Jim Cameron, but he made one that was pretty good. And
Better than Nick
Well,
G.
the third best Terminator is actually Sarah Connor Chronicles, but go on.
Okay. I see your point, and I table it because it's like, and we hit on how like any Terminator timeline could hit in any universe, kind of like this multiverse nonsense you refer to.
Well, I mean, as far as multiverse films currently in the MCU, Deadpool 3 or Deadpool and Wolverine would definitely rank top for me. Because
You don't
it's
like it better than Multiverse of Madness? We're kind of watching in the background right now on news, and Ben's never seen it, but he's let down.
Multiverse
Sorry,
of Madness, I think, has the same issue as Deadpool and Wolverine. Because I don't know why Wade Wilson's character changed so much from 2 and 3. Because I feel like
How did
he.
Wade change from 2 to 3?
I mean, I feel kind of like he found his purpose in 2, right? He literally saved the future with Cable. He found a place, more or less. And he used the time machine to save his girlfriend. And then at the beginning of this movie, he gets rejected one time from the Avengers. This is the problem with multiverse.
Also,
Rejected
where's
one
Domino?
Yeah.
What happened to her?
Yeah, where is she? Was
She's
she
doing
in
Lucky
the?
with things, better places, clearly.
Was she in the trailer?
No.
No.
And
That-
supposedly they cut like She-Hulk and Captain Marvel or something like that. I do
what,
not
what
like
I
the
what I
Thor thing.
read was that they leaked false
Yeah.
cameos in order to hide some of the surprises, which, I always resent it when like people making like media get like change what they do because they're afraid of spoilers. The most egregious example was Chris Chibnall, the guy who ruined Doctor Who, when he made and to clarify, it's not because he cast a woman; it's because he's a shit writer. When he made Broadchurch,
Oh,
he has said in interviews that he was prepared to change the ending if, like, it had been guessed, if it had been popularly guessed who
Oh,
the
wow.
killer was.
I remember Broadchurch. I loved it. And you're saying, wait, what's his name? Mark?
Chris Chibnall.
Chris Chibnall. No, Broadchurch is the one with
With
Tennant.
David Tennant.
Yeah.
and the woman is Olivia Colman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Olivia Colman, so I love Broadchurch.
Yeah,
that's as much thought as I'm willing to put into it. But
But like he was prepared to like you have a story.
I'm
And you have
invested in the ride of that, though. It's
Yeah,
like
and-
Edwin Drood, and Charles Dickens, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Look, I think Ben understands. He may be processing whether or not he agrees it's a fair comparison. 'Cause Charles Dickens didn't finish his writing of a mystery called Edwin Drood, and so other people have come to it and tried to guess what the ending could be. And I'm arguing that a movie doesn't rest on its ending, but it's the journey it takes you on. And Ben is arguing that to
Well,
change your
you-
ending because of popular opinion would be wrong.
Yeah,
Because Ben is
because
anti-populist.
you have like a story that's going somewhere that has a point, and if somebody follows your logic, like if you're it's almost like you're too successful at creating something that makes sense, and therefore you've got to change it to something that works worse, and which makes less sense. And like, and more to the point, it fundamentally gets at it fundamentally, I think, misunderstands the enduring value of art. I think we're way too like obsessed with spoilers in terms of whether or not
You're coming on my side, I would argue that the ending doesn't matter if the spoilers matter.
Well, it's not that the ending of a story doesn't matter. Obviously, it matters a great deal. It's that, generally speaking, I've always felt that if knowing the story, but like if knowing how it ends beforehand ruins a movie or a show for you, then the movie or the show isn't very good, because it means that you can never rewatch it and have it be any good.
I agree, but then
It
the
means
guy
it has no enduring value. It's basically chewing gum. You can throw it away.
But let me counter you on the Broadchurch example, and I don't remember if that result was actually that he took like, oh, they guessed it, so I changed it.
Yeah, they did not guess it, so he did not change it. But he said that he would have.
Yes, and I think that is a good thing to do, because that is, hey, part of the thing of like a mystery show that's subvert the guesses that people might have. So you want to like zig when they think you're going to zag. So if they guess your zag and you then decide to zig, that's a good way to respond to. And that's kind of what's unique about television, and what makes it good is that it gets better over time sometimes, because they get better at making the stories.
Well, the thing is, I don't even is he in his approach to other shows he's worked on. It's not exclusively a mystery thing with
Chris
him.
Ghibli? Is that
Chris
him?
Chibnall.
Chibnall.
Gypsy? Part of
Chris,
Studio
we'll
Ghibli?
call him Chris Ghibli now.
Yeah.
That's his new name. So
Chris Ghibli.
Chris Ghibli, when he worked on Doctor Who, like he took pains to make sure that like no one else was around this, like around the set, that there were no like that there was no speculation, there were no leaks about like who was cast, which, you know, on the one hand it meant there were no spoilers, but it also meant that the fans weren't buzzing about it, and there was less excitement, less chatter online, less conversation. And it's not like Doctor Who is a mystery program. It's it's science fiction that's intended to be watched by like families and little kids.
You're arguing the opposite direction now, because what you're saying is that he didn't include people enough, and what you said is he included people too much before.
No, I did not say that at all.
You said, "Hey,
No, I said I said he was too conscious of spoilers, and the reason why like he like was so secretive in the production of Doctor Who was that he didn't want anybody to spoil it, but it also meant no one was talking about it.
Sure.
When Matt Smith was cast as the Doctor in Doctor Who, people were like taking pictures of the set. They were excited to see what this new Doctor might be like. Everybody was,
Like
talking and buzzing about it.
Now.
And again, it's not like this was a serialized mystery. So it's so like Stephen Moffat, who was the showrunner beforehand, was like, great. People are talking about Doctor Who. We're making a big push to like get it onto American cable television as well, and even simulcast it with the British broadcast, whenever possible. So like it's bad promotion, in addition to, I think, being a wrong-headed way to look at art.
How do you feel about Westworld? Because they engage with the fan community, and that's I don't follow Doctor Who.
I only watched the first season of Westworld. I liked the first season. I just never got around to the other ones.
But they engaged in like theories on the second season or third season. I remember on like Reddit, they like did an AMA and like screwed with people on conspiracy theories.
It's not necessarily like listening to people that's the problem. It's like being particularly concerned with the notion that, oh, people have guessed where it's going. I'd better have it go somewhere else, because whether or not something surprises people in the moment is more important than like the enduring value of what I'm working on, or the enduring like point.
Yep, I would say it's kind of hard to spoil a multiverse movie, because technically any character can show up, right? So you don't really have to worry about spoilers as much.
Anything can happen.
Well, yeah, practically almost anything can happen. That's why I'm kind of disappointed with Multiverse of Madness. It doesn't, and the logic in it doesn't work too, like with
Wait.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh yeah, so John Krasinski
as Reed Richards.
Reed Richards in Multiverse of Madness is Channing Tatum is as Gambit in this. Wait. That's such a great point. I have to do this. Sorry. I'm gonna get this right. I'm sorry. Hey.
That's a good one.
Yeah, thank you.
Great pop.
Hand me a can. I want to do that.
Yeah, I
All
will.
right.
I will hand you a can. This is an important.
Make it the
Kirk.
Make it the Indeed.
Hand the can over.
Then
no
the hands
free
is
ads.
fine.
We do no free ads. Okay, we don't say what
Oh.
cans could or may not be. You have to bleep those. No one's bleeping these. No one's editing these in the long one. But I'm gonna hand you one now. Kirk, continue
Hand
with
me
your thoughts.
the green one.
Yeah. Unspecified. Yeah, with Multiverse of Madness, the thing I didn't like is that Wanda could have found any universe where, I don't know, her kids didn't have a parent. And then with Deadpool and Wolverine, he couldn't find a universe where the Avengers accepted him. I mean, he could universe hop, and all of a sudden, he goes to the 616, and then he's like, oh, forget it, I'm gonna go over here, and just call it.
A great point. Is
Yeah.
that, because he could do anything, why didn't he find a universe where...
Well, because Deadpool watches movies, and he knows that the 616 ones are the ones that have the movies made about it.
Sure, but then why stick around in the other one? Why stay in that one that the MCU doesn't make it about?
Well, like Deadpool's medium aware. He knows that this is a film, and that's his true superpower.
It's why I wish She-Hulk would have been in this, because She-Hulk is medium aware as well.
Is that too meta though? It's like
And
Deadpool
I feel
knows.
like She-Hulk and Deadpool would match Freaks pretty well. Like Deadpool would like being carried around by She-Hulk, and they'd make jokes about that.
There is a direct problem though, because you've got Elektra, who has Ben Affleck Daredevil and Charlie Cox Daredevil, banged Tatiana Maslany's She-Hulk, which is like Tatiana Maslany's She-Hulk brags about it in the show. And we've had to like talk around it when the kids watch it because
Yeah, but
And Jennifer Garner makes a joke about her divorce in this movie.
that was
yeah,
great.
it's
Oh,
very
have you guys seen the Daredevil extended where they do more of the court case? The director's cut of Daredevil.
Yeah,
No, I haven't seen that one.
It's better.
yeah, it is slightly better.
Yeah, it's not as bad. It's different, and in terms of like 2000s superhero movies, it's between a Fantastic Fours at least.
Which Fantastic Four with Chris Evans?
There are two Fantastic Fours with Chris Evans. Then there's the one with Michael B. Jordan, and they reference all of the Fantastic Fours in the trailer or the the credits, like behind the scenes montage. But I'm saying that one of the Fantastic Fours I think is considered to be better than the other Fantastic Four. I don't really care. They're kind of the same to me. Michael Chiklis is awesome, and I love him.
The second one is the one with where Galactus is a cloud.
Yeah,
right?
Correct.
giant cloud over the planet.
And now he's going to be in a new one, and it's going to take place in like the past in a different universe.
Yeah, I don't know why they're doing that. That seems way too convoluted now. Because now you have to have Fantastic Four jump over to our universe or 616 universe. How are they gonna make all that work out?
Here's and I hear what you just said, and I want to like pivot on like here's a real world bullshit. My dad watched In the Line of Fire 30 years ago, and that was a movie, and that movie made okay money, and this movie's gonna make okay money, and this is an R-rated movie, but it's like ridiculous.
I think at least in the first weekend, it's going to actually make a shitload of money.
Yeah, for sure.
The thing with the MCU, I really do think that like this is the time where we really do have MCU fatigue, but not to the extent where it's like if people perceive that there's something different about this one, it's just not another one. Like it's just not another one that I can wait to see on Disney Plus. It's then people will go to see that. But people will be like, "Oh, Deadpool, that's the violent and offbeat and rated R one. I can, I'll go see that one because like I liked the first two." Whereas like something like the Marvels, it's like, oh, this feels a lot like everything else, which is why like the three people in this garage we're recording this in are like, I think we might have been the only people to see it.
No. I'm going to stand for the Marvels because it works really well as a Freaky Friday entry in the MCU that works really well with 4-year-olds and 7-year-olds, and I think that that's great. My older kid watched it with her 7-year-old grandma, and they thought it was great. So like, she's also watched Endgame, which I can't really fathom, but in her head they all are in there, and then she reads.
But it is still on like. I don't agree with you on that. I think it's I think the Marvels, the problem with it is that it feels like weightless. It feels like.
What about when the cats eat
happening.
all the people?
That's the only good scene in it. And but regardless of our opinions, and we disagree on how great it is. Like I don't think you think it's great. You just think it's better than I think
it's a 7, but I wasn't thinking it would be a 7 or an 8. So,
but in any case, regardless of our opinions of it, it is nonetheless a fact that it disappointed financially.
Be careful on squeezing the cord there. Yes, it did. I don't take that. I blame COVID partially. Ant-Man had a hard fall after, its first weekend, and I don't know. Like, they did too many different things. Like,
well, word of mouth also was not great on Ant-Man.
Yeah. I go, why hasn't Shang-Chi come back? Because he was very popular and good. And we saw him, 3 years ago now?
Yeah, it's been a while.
2021.
You know what would have been funny is if in the void in Deadpool and Wolverine we had seen the Eternals.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would. Have you seen the Eternals? I like that movie. It's dumb because it's so hard to access for a normie person. It's 2.5 hours, and it's from the lady who made Nomadland, where what's her name shits in a bucket. The lady from Fargo.
Yes, I've seen Nomadland.
Marge from Fargo shits in a bucket. Have you seen Nomad? So here's the thing, Ben, you'll fight me on this. Nomadland and Hillbilly Elegy. So Ron Howard versus Chloe. Help me out. Her last name Eternals / Nomadland / The Rider. I can name the movies he's directed. The Kirk, you can't.
I'm drawing blank.
Anyways,
yeah, it's
my point is just that I don't think.
Oh, Chloe Zhao or something?
Yeah, Chloe Zhao. I don't think Nomadland is. It's more poverty porn in a way that bothers me because they use actual poor people in it versus Hillbilly Elegy, which may or may not misrepresent something about future vice president and definite vice presidential candidate for the history books.
You know for sure they use poor people in Nomadland?
Yeah.
Wow.
And she poops in a bucket.
Is that behind the scenes?
Have you seen Nomadland?
I've seen it, but
in my view, that actually helps because it means people who were involved in that life were involved in the film. They had their actual feedback.
Yeah, made it more authentic.
Sure, but is it proselytizing them for Hollywood to give itself a reach around hand job, whatever Deadpool and Wolverine?
Yeah,
type
but
reference?
it doesn't romanticize it so much that you want to do it because you see her struggling.
But Frances McDormand's character doesn't need to do it because we meet her sister, and that sort of invalidates the whole thing for me. Whereas at least Hillbilly Elegy helps me understand why, non-college educated white people in parts of the country I don't like to visit that often unless I'm going to a wedding.
Which he may or may not be from. Yes, as Andy Bashir said, he ain't from here.
Yep, yeah, and Andy Bashir's daddy was governor before him, so he's a nepo baby. We can make these comments back and forth. That's where I would have liked to be see more of a Deadpool versus Wolverine.
But nobody has ever thought Andy Bashir was the type of guy who might fuck a couch.
Oh, that's him.
Well,
Like,
he was a kid. He fucked a couch. He admitted to fucking a couch.
He probably didn't, although we can't prove he didn't.
Have either of you?
He definitely comes across as the type of guy who would.
Look me in the face right now. Look me in the face right now. I have lived with you in different places because we are former roommates. Ben, Farx Brothers / podcast co-host. Tell me you've never masturbated on a couch before.
Masturbating on a couch is a different thing from literally fucking one. Like, I have never slipped my dick between the cushions.
Because you're not creative.
That's not very creative. I mean, you're fucking a couch. You're fucking like in between the cushions.
Have you seen the bi kid who fucks the couch cushion on Big Mouth? That's voiced by the guy from The League. And How Did That Get Made? Anyways,
back to the Eternals.
The Eternals is great, and they haven't addressed Temutet, and they'll supposedly get to that in
Captain America. Brave New World.
What was almost called New World Order. Ed was going to have, what was her name? Sabine? No, that's not right. The Israeli character.
Yeah, she's in there still.
But now she's a Black Widow.
Yeah.
She's a widow, not a Black Widow, sorry. And so that's different than is she and we're not going to discuss what Zionism could mean in the MCU, but because she has like the Star of David on her in some versions of is it the 90s, that character?
I have no idea about that character.
That's going to be in Captain America, what was almost called New World Order, but it's now called
Brave New World.
Yes.
With the Red Hulk.
Instead of the worldwide wrestling thing, it's going to be that book you had to read in high school. Did you read Brave New World in high school?
No, I did not.
Ben, did you read Brave New World in high school?
I read it, but not in high school.
What is Brave New World about? Because we be dumb and we can't remember.
Brave New World is a work of dystopian fiction that kind of takes a totally different tack from what the dystopian fiction they make you read in middle school 1984 does. With Brave New World, it's more like decadence and capitalism, where they don't need to have thought police because you are pacified by excess, pacified by
Deadpool and Wolverine, the $200 million movie from Disney.
I wouldn't call it excess. I think they could have done a whole lot more with it.
It would have been it would have been great. I will reiterate, if they brought in Kingo as a gag.
Who is Kingo?
The one of the Eternals, the one with the funniest name.
Okay.
Is that?
There's its name is.
We're monsters for not being able to remember it.
Yeah.
We look in each other's face.
I know it's
one of many people who has gotten swole for a superhero role. I don't remember
the comedian.
Yeah, he's
from Pakistan.
Yeah.
Yep. It's tip of my tongue, but I don't know.
Now, while we're on the subject of changing physiques for a superhero role,
do this. Say that shit.
I'm a fan of professional wrestling.
God bless you.
And you see a lot of dudes get fucking huge, get ripped, get swole for these superhero movie roles, and they play them for a long time.
Swole for the role, Ben.
And anyone who knows about the sordid history of wrestling knows that professional wrestlers are people who tend to take steroids for a long period of time, and that leads to problems, which is why professional wrestlers die younger than any other athlete, even boxers and football players. Again, even boxers, and they're fighting for real. And of course, the reason is boxers have to go through way more rigorous drug testing as opposed to in major wrestling promotions. Technically, I mean, they do have them, but they're kind of
Can I interject
They're
about
kind
some
of
boxing
there.
shit right now? Like some real boxing shit?
Yeah.
So Muhammad Ali's grandson fought a guy from our gym, Slink. His name is Sona Akale, but he goes by Slink. And Slink beat him the first time like a year and a half ago, and then they recently fought last month, and Muhammad Ali's grandson won by decision. So now they're 1-1.
Wow, it's like a Rocky and Apollo kind of thing going on.
Well, it's Muhammad Ali's grandson, Nico Ali, and Sona Kale, who's from St. Paul.
I don't know. I'm
now.
just trying to relate it
Well,
back
I mean,
to
Apollo
films.
is just supposed to be Muhammad Ali, but
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
anyway,
I wouldn't call Sona Rocky. He's way better than Rocky. He's like way more of a laudable figure. Not because I hate Sylvester Stallone. Just see, it always comes back to Sylvester Stallone. Sorry, Ben. Go ahead. Hit us with that boxing shit.
So, getting back to my original point. So I'm wondering if these actors who are like, they're not just eating vegetables to get that physique. They're taking steroids. It's an open secret in Hollywood, and
HGH.
like it's something.
Human growth hormone is what HGH stands for.
Yeah, I know. Whether it's HGH or a cocktail of something else, taking it for like 10, 15 years, if you're playing this same character for 10, 15 years, probably not good for you.
Cocktail.
So I'm wondering if we're going to see like superhero movie actors have like pro wrestler deaths.
Well,
as a
is
result.
Hugh Jackman done playing Wolverine? This is like his final Wolverine film, right? Second, make another
I
one.
wasn't jazzed to see him, and I wouldn't be jazzed to see him anymore. I love Secret Wars, and I have read the 1984 book and thought it was sweet, even though it's like motivated by toys. They're bringing back the Russos maybe to do 5 and 6.
That's what I heard. I don't know.
None of this gets me excited, but I kind of enjoy talking about it with my bros, which is silly. And like this one I might see with my wife, but like I enjoyed seeing Maxine more with my wife than I'll probably enjoy seeing Deadpool and Wolverine for the second time.
I mean, again, as I said previously, I think the question for a lot of people is, okay, what's different about this one that'll get me off my couch?
R-ratedness. And
yeah.
Huge Jackman with HGH back at 55 doing that thing with the sweet 8-pack and oiled up.
And again,
Hugh Jackman is daddy.
Indisputably on steroids.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, think back to like was it X-Men 1?
Like you don't look like
jacked.
that with protein shakes.
Yeah.
You don't.
It's a lot of gear.
I would know because I eat so many protein shakes. No,
You know what?
X-Men 1, what were you gonna say?
Oh, just his physique in X-Men 1. It wasn't super great. It was just like a regular looking dude.
I remember someone in high school saying that he took cold showers to get ready for his role, and like that's why this guy on either my track, he had to be my track team, went like, that's why I like take cold showers to get all like jacked before we go out running. It's like, okay, cool, dude. I wish I tried it more now when I was a track runner back in high school 25 years ago. I can't do that.
I don't think it was 25 years ago.
I don't have to tell you when I lived.
Okay.
I owe you nothing,
Fair enough.
sir.
It wasn't 25.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely not 25. But back to it,
Unless you had a Doogie Howser history that I'm not aware of.
I was Doogie Howser. I was a doctor in a hospital for a long time. So I heard them pitch on Hot Ones a different version of this movie that was going to be Alpha Cop, where it's 2 cops, 1 brain, all cop, all balls. And so like these 2 cops share the 1 brain, and it'd be 5 minutes of that, and then like 5 minutes in the Marvel logo would come up, and that's, oh, it's Wolverine and Friend. But then they had to change the name to Deadpool and Wolverine instead of Deadpool and Friend. It was going to be called Deadpool and Friend.
Yeah, but that would have pretty much killed the marketing for that. That's too much of a
The story they're
gamble.
telling is that they changed it on the night of the Super Bowl.
wow.
that the title Deadpool and Friend leaked. So they changed it from Deadpool and Friend to Deadpool and Wolverine. I assume that's a lie they're making up now to help market the
Yeah.
movie. And I like it as an earworm to get me to go, ooh.
Didn't
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds make that video before they even knew it was titled Deadpool Wolverine? It was Deadpool
He made an
3.
educated wish, I believe. And they say that a lot
Nice
in the movie.
callback.
I thought that was clever. I liked I'm impressed by what Sean Levy was able to direct from action point of view, but I liked that the second unit department got their credits after the highlight documentary in the credits.
Yeah, action-wise, the best scene was the one in the Honda Odyssey.
Oh yeah, where they fight in the car,
Yeah,
minivan, or it's not a minivan, as he says when he's selling minivans over in the movie.
Right.
Did you get that the movie was dedicated to Rob Delaney's or Pete Poole's
No.
dead son?
Hmm.
I think, yeah, because it said Henry Delaney for Henry Delaney, because I think in between Deadpool 2 and Deadpool and Wolverine, Rob Delaney had a child that died, and he's like publicly talked about this, and so it's interesting that they put that at the end of the movie. I also heard Ryan Reynolds joke about calling it 4Q while they were doing that Hot Ones interview. So I was like, oh, looking for somebody who died during the, development of this one from the last one. And again, we're still watching Multiverse of Madness.
But you were gonna make a defense for Deadpool 1, and then Ben, you were gonna make a defense for Deadpool 2,
My
right?
defense for Deadpool 1 is that it started the whole thing. It got the R-rated. Marvel was doing something different and was so successful that Fox had to take a big swing, and they did. And then Big Mickey Ears came in and devoured Fox like Goliath.
and my argument for Deadpool 2 is it was more fully the movie that they wanted to make with Deadpool 1. They have to stretch their legs out a bit. They got to make a few mythology gags, but not like too over the top. Whereas I think with Deadpool and Wolverine, like if you're not wholly familiar with if you don't remember the fact that Chris Evans also played the Human Torch before he played Captain America, like if you're one of the younger fans who grew up on the MCU, you're not going to remember or care about that. Whereas, there's like a few wink wink nudges in Deadpool 2, but like it's something that adds to the movie rather than distracts from it. Also, I feel like Domino adds to it, and like it makes better use of Rob Delaney, I think.
Yeah. I love
as
Rob Delaney.
Than Deadpool 1, which doesn't have him at all, and Deadpool 3, which I don't think it has him too much. Like it's not a matter of quantity. And I will say the gag at the end where all of the evil Deadpools love him, that was pretty good. But like,
I'll ask you a question to help strengthen your argument and hurt Kirk's. So Sean Levy directed Real Steel, which is a good movie, and Free Guy,
that's a solid
which
film.
is a enjoyable movie, an entertaining movie, but has no soul. And now he has directed Deadpool and Wolverine. Whereas David Leitch, who directed Deadpool 2, directed Atomic Blonde, John Wick. You see what I'm saying? Is
Yes.
that the argument for 2
and
or
also
3?
starred in the horrible King of Fighters movie.
What?
Can't forget that.
As he played Terry Bogard, even though he looks nothing like him.
Who's Terry Bogard?
He is a character from the Fatal Fury and King of Fighters games, and will also be a guest character in Street Fighter 6 in the next season, which I'm looking forward to.
Street Fighter 6 is an internet show.
No, Street
Not that
Fighter
video
6.
game.
It's the video game. I'm talking
Oh.
about the character Terry Bogard.
Because there's
So
a story
even though he is
mode.
from the fight, yes, even though he is from the fighting game series Fatal Fury / King of Fighters from SNK. He occasionally crosses over with Street Fighters / Capcom. And so he is going to be a guest DLC character in Street Fighter 6, Terry Bogard. But
Do you play
there was
on
also a movie in like 2010 or whatever, based on the King of Fighters games, based very loosely on the King of Fighters games. It was awful, and I think it is the worst video game movie I have ever seen.
And you've seen many bad ones.
Yes, but Will Leitch was the one who played Terry Bogard in that one. Whom they cast because he knew martial arts.
Wait, not David Leitch, the guy who directed Deadpool
Sure,
2?
David Leitch.
You call him
whatever.
Will Leitch.
Yeah, Will Leitch,
Leitch for money. Yes.
Nice, got him.
Yeah, got him. So my point is that you beat Kirk because the movies that this director has directed outside of his Deadpool entry are better.
Yes.
What?
Definitely true.
Take
sure.
that, Kirk.
And
yeah,
he did
but that's
not direct the King of Fighters movie. He only started.
I only have no defense because I don't know what my guy who directed Deadpool and Wolverine directed.
Have you
So
seen Real Steel?
no, I haven't seen it.
Have you
Oh,
seen
with,
the Night to Museums movies?
Hugh
with-
Jackman, yeah, I've seen Real Steel.
yeah,
Yeah.
with the BattleBots.
Mm.
That's a solid movie. It takes place in Michigan, so I'm somewhat partial to it.
Sure, but I'm not gonna bring anything from the outside of this movie and add it. Like it's a good thing for the movie.
I'm using vectors of attack to differentiate movies based on objective facts. Like each of the Deadpool entries has been directed by a different director, and Tim Miller was like a video game director before he directed Deadpool the movie, and I think he was very successful as that. Ben, you know video games much more than I do. I don't play them.
Yeah.
What did Tim Miller do before he did Deadpool? Do you know?
No, I don't.
I'm not going to Google. Cook, your defense of Deadpool and Wolverine, the movie that just came out that everyone's going to be hot on. And I asked some guy in the line to the bathroom, I was like, what'd you think? He's like, I thought it was good. He's like, I thought it was mid. He's like, what? And I said, it's a 7. He's like, a 7
think-
is above mid.
The issue is you don't know what mid is. Mid is like a low, even though it's
Name a
mid.
movie that was mid recently.
Movie that was mid.
Twisters? No,
I didn't
sorry.
see Twisters.
I know, I'm sorry.
Twisters
That-
was mid.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, you saw it with me.
I did.
Yeah, and yeah. Was Deadpool and Wolverine better than Twisters? Yes.
Yeah. I think it was better than Twisters. Twisters was just like a fully unreconstructed 90s disaster movie that forgot that the thing about 90s disaster movies is that most of them weren't very good.
Whereas somebody who got jetted forward from 2000 when X-Men came out to 2024 when Deadpool and Wolverine came out, if they saw X-Men and then Deadpool and Wolverine, they'd shit their pants with excitement and joy.
Like if you sent back Cool Ranch Doritos to the Middle Ages, they would be like the medieval peasants would just be, I don't think their minds would be able to take the intensity of the flavor.
It'd probably make them like poop for days or something. It could like kill them.
We'll
Sure.
never know. But,
Yeah.
Like it would be.
You don't know that because we don't know that in the future they won't invent time travel and then that we wouldn't screw with these kinds of things.
Yes, but I will always wonder about this.
There wasn't enough time travel in this movie either. And I would
There's
never argue that
barely
about a
any
movie.
time travel in this movie. Technically, there's no time travel in this movie.
And they immediately
Well, I mean, when Wolverine dies, that's supposed to be in the future, right?
For Logan?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's technically in the future.
it could be, well, it's a different timeline.
Yeah, well, that's, I guess on a semantical level, yes, they are using time travel because you're traveling to a different time in that universe.
Yeah,
You're
he,
going
to
he
the
talks
timeline,
about
you're not
Logan's
going-
death in the past
Yeah.
tense, but we can't necessarily rely on Deadpool's account because, like, we know Deadpool saw the movie because he's like, and as such, he's like normal, like the normal sense of time doesn't really apply to him because he's like, he's seen the script, he saw the movie.
I like this is the worst Deadpool, or excuse me, the worst Wolverine. I guess it could also be the worst Deadpool because it's so mid. But sorry, now I want to be Gen Z so bad.
Yeah.
That they call him the worst Wolverine to me is like, oh, it harkens back to X-Men Origins Wolverine, or Wolverine X-Men Origins. Is that what it's called?
Like the worst Wolverine film?
Yeah, the worst Wolverine is what we were getting, but we finally get him in the yellow suit.
Sure, but I don't understand the correlation here.
Too. Between.
Yeah, why did you bring up the worst Wolverine?
Because this Wolverine is seen as the worst Wolverine between the different multiverses. He's described as such by Paradox, who's like, hey, he sucks the most because he didn't save the other, like, X-Men in his universe, and he doesn't care about his universe. Like, he cares so much about his universe getting fixed, which they never do.
Okay, but the worst Wolverine movie has technically the best Wolverine because he is Logan at the end of Logan, right? So it doesn't really.
X-Men movie is X-Men Origins Wolverine, but the best X-Men movie is Logan. Isn't that what you're saying?
Yeah, and he's the same guy, so I don't understand the correlation between.
And meanwhile, well, as Multiverse of Madness plays in the background of this garage, they've gotten to the Council of Ricks scene where they where John Krasinski shows up among others.
He was not there on the same day as these folks. There's no way he was there on the same day as any of these
Yeah,
folks.
because of how it's shot and framed.
There are certain beats that like now come up with lots of these multiverse movies, including, as I just alluded to, the notion of like a multiversal Council of Ricks. Like things get like the thing about the multiverse is that it kind of lies to you as to what it is. It kind of claims to be like, oh, we're talking about infinite possibilities here, but in reality, we're talking about like a range of possibilities with IP licensed characters. Rather than expanding like the range of possibilities, you're contracting them really.
Space Jam Legacy.
Yes, and it really, the Space Jam 2 is the most honest of these movies because it is the most upfront that it's like, oh yeah, we're just going to throw a bunch of Warner Brothers properties at each other. Really, this is a bunch of billionaires rubbing their action figures together. And kind of the only actual story you can make out of like a multiverse concept.
I want you to see this right now.
It's already been made. Like everything, everywhere, all at once. That's like kind of it's like an existentialist comedy. That's really the only actual story you can tell, and everything else is just branding.
I do love Everything Everywhere All at Once. It was an early advocate of that movie. I saw it like opening weekend and tried to get other people to see it, and then asked for it for a birthday.
But like you know what I mean when I say that it's really the only actual multiverse story.
Baby, I know what you mean.
Yeah, but I mean, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse definitely takes a different angle. That's a much better multiverse movie.
That's fun, but the good thing about the Spider-Verse movies, more than anything else, more than anything in the story, is the art and animation style. That's what carries it.
Listen,
I would argue the story's pretty good too.
I
so
didn't
far.
just fall out of the coconut tree. These movies exist in a context, okay? I have seen Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I've seen Everything Everywhere All at Once. And I've seen Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness, directed by Sam Raimi, who directed the original Evil Dead. And I thought Deadpool and Wolverine was going to exist in the context of those other movies in a way that expanded and not was like, oh, middle of the pack. All right. Well, I mean, I'm not mad. I'm just like, I'm not as jazzed and excited. And Kirk was there with me and my wife after we saw Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness in, was it 2021 May, opening like Thursday. And we all came out and were like, damn, I thought it was going to be an 8 or a 9, and it was like a 7.
Super disappointing. I would call this movie mid. It's so disappointing.
Yeah, it's at the point where, you know, the multiverse as a concept is, when you see it come up, you're like, oh, it's another one of these. Like the story mode of the newest Mortal Kombat game did it again, and everyone was like, oh, it's another one of these.
Weird.
Wait, you both play Mortal Kombat the game and keep current?
Yeah, I will more or less. Yeah, I don't play. I just kind of watch the cutscenes. No, I'm on PS5.
Did you both get screwed by the CrowdStrike update this past like a week ago?
Not really.
Okay,
and in any case, like with Mortal Kombat 1, even though I played MKX and MK11 a lot, I kind of went off that quickly, both for story and gameplay reasons. I'm not really into the whole cameo system. Everyone at home who actually plays fighting games, all two of you, or if that, then
my
you'll
niece and nephew play the 2D ones I have for PS2, and then we don't have any fighting games for the Wii and the MBwTFB, but we do have PS2 fighting games.
No, Super Smash Brothers.
You don't have Smash Bros. Melee?
Yeah, go on.
No, we should get that for the Wii. We have.
No, wait, Brawl is the Wii one. Melee is the GameCube one.
I'm embarrassed for you.
Yeah. You should be.
Well, is Deadpool a fighter in one of the Capcom Marvel games?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Which one?
3.
Slap. You would know. Sorry. I had Capcom Marvel, like the PlayStation 1 version, I think, or 2. One of them, and we played that to infinitum between like the 4-year-old, the 6-year-old, and the 10-year-old ones.
Wanna take you for a ride.
Yeah.
I know the song.
I like those 2D fighting games. Do you like when they're 3D and like third person and then they do the split screen and you're behind each one? Have you seen that?
No, I'm not familiar.
Is that something I made up?
The only 3D one I ever play is Tekken.
Yeah. Yeah, and like, doesn't it split the screen?
I like the bear.
The bear.
Well, specifically the grizzly bear.
In Tekken.
Yeah, there are 2 bears.
There's a lot of
Kuma,
animals in Tekken.
and then there's Panda.
There's nothing about Deadpool and Wolverine that makes us like super excited. We've gone all over the place, and Kirk would complain about that.
Yeah, like if we cared that much, we wouldn't have been talking about literally everything else but the movie.
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Yeah.
Instead of.
Well, another complaint I have about Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah, I could just sit and build it back up. It's fine.
Continue.
It's that they don't use incursions as the narrative drive.
Oh, the multiverse is crashing into one another?
They should have done that. Why didn't they do that? Because they mentioned it in Multiverse of Madness. This would have been the perfect time to see an incursion actually happen. But they convoluted with Mr. Paradox. Wants to make it go faster. Yeah.
Guy. And that's like some Loki stuff, which, again, Ben, you don't have a Disney Plus subscription, so you have not seen the 12 episodes of Loki that explain who the TVA are, and you were not lost during this movie. Is that correct?
No, I was not. I just got like, oh yeah, they're like multiverse cops.
Correct.
And like,
you got it.
It's a simple concept. Like, and again, like there's enough of this multiverse shit around that you can be like, oh yeah, they're multiverse cops. That's a thing that's in all of these things. Like, you know.
Well, could this be kind of a stretch? Are they trying to make Mr. Paradox kind of stand in for Kang just a little bit?
Oh, like
Why
would
is he
Kang
not?
have been
Yeah.
in Deadpool and Wolverine had
If he had been
Jonathan
the main,
Majors not been
yeah.
found guilty of a misdemeanor? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because I guess I know that Kang is more of a time traveler and not a multi-universe guy, right? He's time
Well,
traveling,
not
not.
given what you see at the end of Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to pick the pieces, because it would make more sense if it
You
was
shouldn't
Kang.
like it's basically
I'm doing a
that's
lot more work than they might have. That's what you're saying?
like what's next is Captain America, and that's gonna be more like Earthbound unless Deadpool's not gonna show up, Wolverine's not gonna show up, but Hulk's gonna show up, and like all the cameos in this blue. Thor pissed me off. I don't like that I didn't get the answer. The Hulk was underwhelming, and who else? Oh, like Happy Hogan. Okay, cool. They got John Favreau. I hope he got paid fat bucks to sit down.
I
for
always
2
like
days.
seeing Wesley Snipes. I liked that one.
Yes, I love Wesley Snipes, and I hope that he got paid fat bucks to show up and do whatever he did for just a couple of days. But isn't he in Expendables 4? If he's in Expendables 4, then he's dead to me. Because Expendables
Didn't
4
you
makes
see
me
that?
so...
Because I didn't see
makes
that.
me
I
so mad.
don't. I saw Expendables 4. I don't remember him being
Did I
in
say
it.
it with you?
Yes.
And I don't remember it. But I
I don't
remember
remember
being
him.
mad at it.
I don't remember him being in it. I did not expect enough of Expendables 4 for me to be mad at it, but it was indeed a bad film.
It's Deadpool and Wolverine all over again. Except I would say Deadpool and Wolverine did not disappoint me to the degree that Expendables 4 disappointed me. So that's a positive. Always look at
Wow,
the
okay.
bright side of life.
I mean, it is. I would rather watch Deadpool and Wolverine in all of its 2+ hours, like 5 times before I watched Expendables 4, which I think was only 100 minutes long, even once. So.
Ugh. Because sorry, I won't say why, but the Expendables 4 blows.
I mean, what were your expectations for?
No,
It's
like,
Expendables. I mean,
if they're gonna
Like,
make
none of them are good.
yeah.
But
no,
like,
there's part of the second one that's good, some of the first one that's good, and like parts of the third one are good, except that's PG-13 for some dumb reason. And Mel Gibson's in it. I just got the movie Conspiracy Theory on disc, and I'm really excited to watch that. It's a Richard Dahmer movie. We were talking about Richard Dahmer movies on the last episode. And again, Sean Levy, I liked Free Guy. I liked Real Steel. I didn't dislike Deadpool and Wolverine, but it's a 7, and I wanted a 9, and I feel dumb.
Well, what would have been a 9 for you
it
then?
hasn't been advertised much,
Yeah.
but Free Guy is actually the sequel to 12 Years a Slave.
What? All right, I want to hear that connection. How does that work?
Dear God, get
Well,
canceled.
Because it's 12 Years a Slave, and then afterward you got the happy ending, Free Guy.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
saying
it's
from
a
just a title
joke.
point of view. It's
Oh,
a
yeah.
title point of view joke. Just
I
so
get it.
everyone understands, title point of view joke. I did not enjoy either movie in a way that I would buy and own, I don't think.
Wow, is that a
disc.
first for you? That you
Yes,
own
the
like
first
every
for me
movie
to
in
not
the
buy a
world.
movie and own it. There are some movies I won't buy and own. I don't own any of the Marvel movies because they're all D+, and I feel like they have to exist in this continuum of Marvel movies. And most often when I go back to them, I am doing it with like kids, and we're jumping between like dumb stuff and like, oh, I only want to see the Hulk parts of this movie. Oh, I only want to see, you know, the Rocket Raccoon parts of Avengers. Oh, I only want to see, She-Hulk fighting. I don't want to see her as Jennifer Walters. Although I know she's Jennifer Walters, and I would point at a pimp girl in a brewery as part of their art and go, hey, that looks like Jennifer Walters.
Do you feel like Marvel movies are getting more and more where you just want to see the cool parts and not the entire movie?
I almost enjoy this screening of Multiverse of Madness as much as I enjoyed the first screening of. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I was excited. I was glad to get excited about something. I'm disappointed a little bit, and that's okay. I hope Alien Romulus is really exciting and gross and makes me,
Dude, I was not expecting for that thing to be so long to come out of her mouth. That was
oh, when it
pretty
fucks the
messed up,
mouth
yeah.
in Alien Romulus trailer.
Yeah, because
goes in the mouth?
the guy gets the little one, but the girl gets the
The
full
full
package. Yeah,
for
the
a
whole
face hug.
goddamn thing. Like, whoa, that's
Then are you a strong believer in the Alien franchise? You know
Well,
it exists,
it's
obviously.
it's one of the better film franchises to peak with its first film.
Huh.
And I'd like to get back a bit to Disney Plus because
Okay.
I do think that the pandemic did fuck up the MCU in that, like, it made people kind of accustomed to thinking of the MCU as something you just, like, have on, like, in the background while you're on your phone. You're
Folding
sitting on
laundry,
your
it's
couch.
laundry TV.
Yeah.
Moon Knight was not essential. I did not need to see Moon Knight to see Deadpool and Wolverine. But Moon Knight and Deadpool and Wolverine exist in a continuum.
yeah,
But
but
like
Secret
it
Invasion.
used to be that like even when the MCU first like introduced TV to itself, like in the form of like Agents of Shield and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah.
That
that
you
wasn't
know it
canonical.
was like
Was.
there was still a clear differentiation between like the film stuff and the TV stuff. Whereas it's kind of all blending together kind of into a slurry more recently. And as I said, as I've kept harping on, like to the extent that people are still willing to go see them, it's like, okay, what's different about this one? And that's the reason why Deadpool has been so much more successful, or, based on tracking. Like, it has been.
Because it's different, because it's ribald and R-rated.
Yes.
Watch this, man. Watch this red cloud come at Patrick Stewart. And then what do you think's going to happen with the red cloud and Patrick Stewart? Whoops.
That was too
And
fast.
that's how... No, the killing of Patrick Stewart's character in Multiverse of Madness, you think happens too fast? Like when he
Yeah,
shows
a
up to
little
play the X-Men 90s cartoon music. Could you hum it for us, Ben?
They could have dug deeper and played like the Japanese theme.
Yeah, I
Like
haven't
the
heard that one.
Japanese intro goes hard. You've seen it, right?
No,
Sing it for us. No, I haven't.
No,
I can't remember.
It's more the visuals than the music
Oh, okay.
itself.
Okay.
Hmm. I have to check it out.
Check. Should we end on that?
It's the same show, but like they did a different intro in Japan for some reason. But it totally kicks ass.
I love that. So check out the Japanese opening to the cartoon X-Men from the 90s. Deadpool and Wolverine.
Is that your final word?
Yeah, I think the first one's the best. I had less expectations going into it, and just none of these have been able to meet the high expectation I had for any of them. Even though I enjoyed them, even though I recommend them, even though I'm going to see them again, even though I'm going to own them, watch them again. It as a piece.
As fun as some of the cameos are, none of them are as funny as Brad Pitt in Deadpool 2.
Yeah, that was
Exactly.
It's fantastic.
Hilarious. Because Brad Pitt's a weird little freak, except he looks like a leading man, but he just wants to play character parts. What a heartache for a good actor who hopefully can reunite with his family, and not see that's why they shouldn't have acknowledged Hugh Jackman's divorce. They acknowledged Hugh Jackman's divorce and Jennifer Garner's divorce. That's weird for a popcorn movie that's going to make over $130 million.
I don't know, it's Deadpool and his jokes. He's gotta break fourth walls all the time. That's what I kind of don't like about some of the Deadpool movies. He makes too many jokes. I think in this one, Wolverine told him to shut up a bunch of times, and he wasn't given the opportunity to make that many jokes. So, I mean, my final
I
word,
mean, that's kind of his thing.
yeah,
Though.
sure, but I want to say it's definitely it's a good in the MCU. There's not a lot of good multiverse movies, so I would put this on top. But as a trilogy and the Deadpool trilogy, it's definitely the weaker one for sure.
Well, it's the weaker one in the R-rated Logan trilogy, like the extended the Wolverine, Logan, and Deadpool and Wolverine. I would put this third. It would be Logan, the Wolverine, and then Deadpool and Wolverine. And you could watch them in that order even, and it would be pretty satisfying. Here.
Any final words, Ben?
Yeah, I would say that it's out of 10, it's like a strong 6 to a light 7. Shout out Anthony Fantano.
All right, I think we'll end on that shout out.
Booyah.
Thanks for listening. See you in the next one.
Deadpool and Wolverine
watching?
forever.
Yeah, no, I said thanks for listening.
Yes.
We'll catch you on the next one.
I'll catch you. Catch you.
Bye bye.
I'll fucking catch you.